Yeah, we are ready. Hi, Anusha. Welcome to the SayCheese platform. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All well, Anusha. We are so happy to have you on board. It's a very special
Thank
day
you.
for us today.
Thank you.
This is our inaugural week, and we've just recently launched the SayCheese community app, which is where we are
Mm-hmm.
talking from.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting mix. There's a bit of live streaming on YouTube, and you and me are on the iOS, and there's somebody watching us from Android. So, a very interesting mix match of technology happening, and we couldn't be more excited.
Right, I know it's really exciting to see more such community spaces coming together because I think community and collaboration is the future. So I'm honored to be on board.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Before we get started, I
Mm-hmm.
just thought I'll introduce you to the audience and
Mm-hmm.
just take them through a little description and what I know about you. So, Anusha Suresh is a millennial multipurpose artist, spiritual guide, feminist, eco warrior, and a small business owner. She runs her own silver design studio called Wanderlust Art Boutique that takes up commissioned illustrations and sterling silver and crystal jewelry custom orders. Anusha believes in sustainability and nature. She loves to tend to her green babies in her terrace garden. She grows her own flowers and vegetables, and she takes inspiration from nature for both work and life. She is a meditation guide and healer, practices and coaches Reiki, crystal healing, and sound bath meditation. She's an intuitive coach and guides people through their own self discovery journey. Anusha is also associated with Yoni Circle as a moderator, an international storytelling platform for women to come explore their life experiences and connect with global communities by creating safe spaces. She is a part of several women led communities and is a founder of an online community for women called Ascend, which is a space for reflection and exploration. Anusha hopes to see a world where women can embrace who they authentically are without the limiting beliefs of centuries of conditioning. Wow. Very impressive, Anusha, very impressive.
Thank you.
And I just a start. So you're doing so many things, Anusha. I mean, do you think work-life balance comes easier to us as women? I mean, do we inherently know what to do, or something we just engage and practice a lot more and get better at it?
I think I think for women inherently we can multitask for sure. We can multitask better than men can. But I think when it comes to work life balance, I think it's a skill that you really need to hone over the years. It's not something that we're sort of programmed with, especially if we are women who are ambitious. I think it gets even more tricky to navigate those waters because you end up fighting so many things to get your career on track. So I don't think it's essentially easier, but I think more and more women today are driven and ambitious and passionate about their careers. They want to be they want to do it all. They want to be everywhere, and I think we're thriving and we're working towards finding that balance that we all talk about. So yeah, I think that's what I think.
Wonderful. So, Anusha, what exactly does the topic mean? I mean, it's a very intriguing topic. The access to divine feminine without the masculine influence. So, what exactly does it really mean?
Okay, so the title might seem a little misleading. It might feel like we're pitting women against men, but it actually isn't. If you look at the world that we live in for the last couple of centuries, we've been living in a very masculine space. I mean to say, irrespective of whether you're a man or a woman, we operate from a space of masculinity, a space that we want to protect ourselves. We're closed off, or we're very driven. We're in that warrior zone. right? There are very few of us that can really come over to the softer side of things, or we have the polar opposite where women are expected to be really docile and kind and nurturing and forget about all other parts of them, right? So there's a terrible imbalance of sorts. Like, you're either expected to be the ideal woman, or you're expected to be, for men they're expected to be the ideal man who is the breadwinner of the family, who's machoistic and controls everybody at home. But the thing that everybody seems to forget, that we all have a feminine side to us and a masculine side to us. The feminine side to us is more creative, is more sensual, is more free flowing, it's playful, it's creative, it's all of those things that are sort of blended into one. The nurturer, the healer, all of that is the feminine side of us. And when we come to the masculine side of each of us, it is the logical side of us, the side of us that is ready to fight the entire world to get what we want, the side of us that is driven, the side of us that brings that fiery passion. That is our masculine side. What happens is most of us today are either operating from one or the other, right? If you're a career ambitious woman, you feel like, I don't have time for the softer sides of me, because the moment I show my softer side, nobody's going to take me seriously. So we're all operating from the masculine because we want to be taken seriously. So the title is all about allowing ourselves to sort of have a symphony of both, have both the masculine and the feminine sort of dance and blend, and have a really balanced, wholesome person. So yeah, that's what it means.
Wow. So, Anusha, like when you're talking, I see that there is a very strong spiritual side to you, right? How exactly would you simplify a spiritual side of a person to us? Is it religious? Is it something which is esoteric? What exactly is a spiritual side?
Okay, so I'm not going to go into the textbook definition of what spirituality is. I think for me, spirituality is the connection of the human spirit to the connection of the earth spirit. I think it's sort of where you become more aware and go with the times of nature, with the seasons of nature, with the energy of nature, and work with it rather than work against it. If you look at everything around us, I think is very artificial, right? Including the light that we're exposed to on a daily basis, which is white light, is all artificial and man-made. From our gadgets to everything around us is all human made. There's very little natural element to it unless you are very mindful about having more natural elements around you. So I think for me, spirituality is finding my way back to being in sync and in alignment with nature, with the seasons of nature, with the moon cycles, with summer and winter solstice, and allowing myself to be in nature, like with the rhythm of nature. I think that is spirituality for me.
So, you're clearly somebody who understands your own self very well, right?
Mhm.
But how can one identify and embrace the true potential of who they are? So, you probably are much greater in sync with your own self, but a lot of people are not. So, how do they do it? Is there a method to it?
So I think yes, there is definitely a method to it, as they say, and it's not a one size fits all. It's definitely very tailor made for different people depending on where they are in their journey of life. I think for some people, conditioning runs very very deep, and along the way, they've always sort of gone with what society expects them to be, right? When we see anybody, for that matter, be it man, woman, child, we have one side of us that we want to be, and there is another side of us that society, family, relationships want us to be. Now, not everybody is going to fight towards what they want to be, also because they're not confident enough that they're sure that that is what they want to be. Because it's a work in progress. Like today, I might want to be an artist, but I don't want to risk being an artist by going against somebody else, because I'm fearful of my failures. So I might forget that dream altogether and go according to the safe route that is given by others. Because at the end of the day, if things don't work out, I can put the blame on others, saying I didn't want to do it, somebody else pushed me to do it, right? So I think that is something that everybody struggles with. And although your mind is sort of programmed to, the mind is programmed with a coping mechanism to tell you that everything is okay, we've got this under control. But I think the body never lies. Your gut will always guide you towards what you are passionate about, what is right for you, and where your heart really flutters, right? I think that is the first step towards embracing who you are in any situation. You just quiet your mind down and see what your body is trying to tell you, what your gut is trying to tell you, what your heart is trying to tell you. And I think that will lead you towards embracing yourself fully, rather than allowing all of these influential voices sort of come in play.
So how do we get those thoughts centered into accepting, understanding ourselves more? So how do we center it all together?
I think it's a multi-step process. It's definitely not like a switch that you turn on and suddenly the world looks different. I think it is like a relationship with self is like a relationship with anybody, right? And the relationship with self is the only permanent relationship you have throughout your life. Be it your parents, be it your spouse, be it your children, be it your friends, these are all momentary relationships in life. There is an expiry date to everything. Maybe you don't know the expiry date, but at the end of the day, there is an expiry date to it. But the relationship to yourself is the only relationship that does not have an expiry date. For as long as you live on this planet, you will always share that relationship with yourself. So I think it's very important for you to build on that relationship with yourself, to ask yourself questions and wait for yourself to answer those questions. I think we rarely sit with ourselves and ask ourselves question of how do I feel today? As simple as that. None of us ever take the time to see where we are emotionally today. We don't even take the time to acknowledge our emotions. We are brushing everything aside and walking through in this rat race of life. I think the first step is for us to be able to sit with ourselves and say, how do I feel today? What is the predominant emotion I feel today? If there is a trauma that's coming up for me that has been triggered, what is the trauma that has been triggered? And what part of me is it triggering? Is it triggering my fear? Is it triggering my anxiety? Is it triggering my my fear of abandonment? Or is it just triggering the feminist part of me, right, that feels like I'm being oppressed? So it's for you to sit with yourself with multiple things. You can do journaling, you can do meditations, you can listen to talks that really inspire you, that are on your lines, that help you think, or take up books that talk about all of these things, that help you go deeper into your own emotions, into your life, into acknowledging your journey of life, because everybody is on a different path in life, right? And so often we are so focused on, oh, that person has received that success, this person has these many followers, this person has bought this house, that person has bought that car, but what about me? Do I really want all of this? Or is it just that I see the society celebrating them, I want that celebration, so I think I should get that? So that is a question we need to ask ourselves. So I think that is one way of moving towards that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Clearly, there's a lot of introspection needed, and one needs to spend a lot of, I think, alone time with our own selves to first understand what we're all about and what our motivation. It's only then that one gets ready to face everyone else around you. So yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
I think is a
Yes,
big.
I think see, everybody has an innate wisdom. Even a 2-year-old has an innate wisdom, even a 60-year-old has an innate wisdom. And I think in the world that we live in today, we do not give enough credit to that innate wisdom that we all have. We always think that we're too stupid, we're too dumb, and we don't know anything, and we believe that always somebody in front of us knows better than us, because we are not confident in what we know. But I think the moment you switch things around and be like, that is her life and or his life, and they know what they're doing in their life, so I should figure out what I want to do with my life, with the wisdom that I have, with the experience that I have, because I truly believe that will guide you to your path and your soul purpose and where you have to go. Take inspired steps towards that, rather than just going with the flow blindly. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Excellent. Very, very, very nice. Very insightful, I have to admit. Very insightful. So, Anusha, we are now we are ready with our launch of the SayCheese. Uh, there is just so much of uh, passion that with because we want people in our community to be better versions of themselves. Pretty much like what you just said, but at this in a larger number. We're looking at women to age to to get their concerns neatly bit sorted, because if you're alone you think there is just so much that's happening with you, but when you reach out to a larger number of women, you realize everybody has something, right? So the careers, health, relationships are some of the areas that we target. Is there any message that you'd like to give to the women over there who are a part of our community, or who are struggling with some concerns? Anything that you want to say to our family?
I think what I'd like to say is you're in the right place, and I think going forward, a community is what holds you up. Like when you look at, the evolution of how our societies have evolved, we've been in close knit, large families, right? Close knit large families have always maybe not educationally had qualified counselors, but we've always had people who've supported you through emotional breakdowns. You had a friend to confide in, a brother to play with, a sister to borrow things from, and just that community living within families. And that's why the saying came, where blood runs thicker than water, right? Where the entire family stands together. So I think when families became really small and nuclear families with just one children, we lost the touch of community. We're all to ourselves. And if you have parents who are ambitious, you as a child, you have no support system, you have nobody to talk to, right? And you only lean on your friends. And then there is this whole saying of, still blood runs thicker than family, don't trust friends, and all of those things, and family secrets have to remain within the family. So there's a lot of fear around vulnerability, right? There's a lot of fear around being vulnerable, because they believe that being vulnerable you'll be taken advantage of. But I think going forward, it's communities like this that's going to bring the we have a bigger pandemic amongst us apart from COVID, which is loneliness, right? I think communities like this is going to help sort of tackle that pandemic, where you have people you've never met, you've never seen, but they're there to hold you through any situation, without any ulterior motives. And I think when you are in a community, there's always somebody who will cover up your flaws, right? None of us are perfect, none of us can be perfect, but we all have unique things that we bring to the table. So I believe that it's communities like this that will help you develop a wholesome self. And you don't have to be good at everything. That's the problem. When you stand alone, you have the pressure to be good at everything that you do. But when you're a part of a community, you can be good at what you do, and there'll be somebody else who will help you out, and together we create a magical space. So I think it's spaces like this that give us the opportunity to create that magic, for you to find a tribe to belong to talk to grow with, to meet people that you can network with, and you can sort of skill share and exchange information, exchange experiences. And you don't have to experience everything in life and learn everything through experiential learning. You can even learn from others' experiences. I think that power is given by a community like this, with a mixed group of people who come in. So yeah, that's what I think. And I think more and more people should come on board and be parts of communities like this, because communities and collaborations are the future. Competition and capitalism isn't anymore. At least I think that's my opinion.
Thank you so much for your vote of confidence. And it helps. I mean, we very strongly align with vision, but with every person who believes in it, stronger. But so much for today. Very insightful session. I had a lovely time talking to you.
Thank you, thank you. Likewise, it was an honor being here, and thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on board. Say cheese, and I wish you more and more and more success. More people join the community, and I hope it explodes exponentially with amazing, wonderful, talented human beings. So yeah, that's my little wish to all of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Anusha. Thank you. Lovely having you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Divya.
Thank you so much.